Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, to create massive awakened impact for millions of souls around the planet, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. Welcome everybody, Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Grateful to be with you today for another episode. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about standing in your power, how you can transform your life and your business simply by learning how to stand in your power. One of the challenges I've seen for myself, actually, and many other people on this path of being spiritual, being a spiritual entrepreneur, being a healer, coach, trainer, whatever it may be, is this sense of not standing in our power, that we sometimes give our power away to so many different things, and we end up feeling heavy, we're confused, we don't know what to do, we start seeing less results in our life and business. All these things, fragmentation happens, relationships end, health gets poor. So I'm going to get into it today to help you so that you can start eliminating those things from your life, and just a very basic techniques, tools, wisdom around how you can stand in your power and start seeing incredible new results in your life. All right, so if you like that, keep tuning in, and be sure to share this episode as well if you like it. If you have team members on your business or you have colleagues that could benefit from this information, please share it, or your own clients that, like, this guy has something good to say about standing in your power. Do you want to meditate and make money? Let it be simple. Let it be easy. Let it be fun. Go to yoursacredpurpose.com and get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation today. All right. So this is a huge topic, in my opinion. So what does it mean to stand in your power? What is that all about? There's so many different ways we could talk about it. So is it that you're present, that you're just present in your own energy, you're in your own body? And does it mean you're wielding a big sword or a hammer or something, like, you're like a Thor-like figure or whatever, dominatrix figure or something? You're powerful, and you're not going to take crap from anybody, and you're in your power. Or so when you yell out and shout to the world about what you believe in and all that sort of thing, is that being in your power? Or is it, again, someone like the way we imagine Buddha? We don't really know how Buddha was necessarily, but the Buddha, or is it like Eckhart? It's more this sense of this simple way of being, this connected power. What is your power? I mean, I think it's more easy to identify what is not being in your power. So not being in your power, what are the symptoms? What starts happening when you're not in your power, when you're not really connected to the sense that I have a choice here, I can allow something greater to happen here? What does that look like? So we're going to get into that. In terms of not being in your power would be that maybe you feel like you don't get your way, like you're not manifesting what you want, you're always giving into people pleasing, you're allowing yourself to be unduly influenced when it's not your own intuition to do something. It can look like you're just, again, exhausted, overwhelmed, confused, don't know what to do. If only I knew what to do, right? So that's often what people say, is things like, if only I knew what to do here. And what I found out about that is it's because you're not connected to being in your own power. So again, how do you get into your power? How do I look at that? There's different levels and layers and aspects of this. And so I will talk about the different aspects of it. The first thing is just, are you overall connected to the power itself, with the presence? That's a good place to start, because there is power where you're using your personal will in life, and it's very only solar plexus, like raw, and then the raw through your voice and all that stuff. And you can be in your power to a degree that way. You're not in maybe the victim energy, but you're just bowling over the energy, and you're bowling over other people. Maybe you're bowling over the energetics to get your way. Okay, so there's that sort of being in your power. That's a step above, just being passive or being a victim and all those sorts of things. So, what it definitely, again, like outside, it doesn't look like is like, I've got complaints, I've got judgments, I got victim mentality. That's totally not being in your power. So those are examples of it. Now, so then you start realizing, no, I have choice. Actually, maybe I am responsible for my reality. Maybe I am a minimum co-creating my reality. I say the more you can realize that you're creating your entire reality, not out of power trip, but out of the lens of your experience, your reality, you're 100% creating that at some level. Like you put it in motion. Okay, and it's my opinion, it's my take, it's my hot take. But I found like things I thought were impossible to change in my life. Once I took my power back and I started realizing, wow, I created this, then they start to change. So it could look like, wow, my sister always is arguing me about this or that thing. You take your power back from it, you're like, okay, I want an attitude. I don't want to argue with my sister. I don't want her even coming to me, talking to me about these things anymore. And then, it can be true if you're clear enough with yourself that never happens again. Things that have been happening for decades can end overnight. This is why we have so much opportunity when we're worried about so many things in the world. Rather than being worried, make a new decision about how you want it to be in the world and start watching miracles happen. Because there is this principle that I truly believe in. Which is 1 plus God equals a majority. And it's frightening to people. It's actually frightening to people rather than liberating often. What? I'm that powerful? But you don't realize, like, we're all in our own world. We're all in our own timeline. We're all in our own element. And, the flip side of this whole thing, like, okay, me plus God, it gets me whatever I want. All right. But then there's the deeper understanding of, and it doesn't always necessarily matter if you're getting quote unquote what you want, right? Because sometimes that's being driven by the mind of separateness that's never satisfied and is always like saying, I'll get my way again, and then you're never getting your way because you're never in acceptance of life itself. So these things are tricky. That's why I say the standing in your power, my take on it isn't maybe exactly like other people's, because you're in your power, you're commanding your reality and all this stuff, but that's not being in your full power either. So it's stepping up, but it's not being in your full power. When you deepen into your beingness, when you're taking the time to meditate, you're taking the time to be present, make sure you're present, right? And then time disappears more so, and you get in magical connection mode, and life is more spontaneous in the moment. Life is lighter, life feels better, life feels more joyful and fulfilling, because you're just present and you're accepting and you're loving everything in your life, even the challenges in your life. You surrender from a heart of love. Okay, I could fight this. I could keep trying to command my infinite power to change it, and I'll probably be successful eventually. Or I can just accept the situation and realize that in the acceptance from my heart and loving acceptance of what is in this moment can easily just, bring more blessings and resolve whatever things you're dealing with in your life. I was faced with a challenge just the other night, and it's like I wanted to fight it so much. I wanted to use my personal will, and I did to a degree, but then there was a surrender. It was like, okay, me trying to argue for the reality that I want, I can do that, but I've done it so many times, past lives, this life. I'm like, that I can only take it so far usually. Most of the time I can't stay with that energy very long. And then I'm like, oh, okay, let me surrender in my heart and get more in compassion, understanding of myself and others in this situation. And then that's when the real miracles happen, a deeper realization, a deeper miracle. sometimes we need to get in contact that we even have power in a situation in order for us to be able to bridge, heaven and earth. Like we have to claim our earthly will and power to be able to then ultimately find our true power, which is much deeper than that, and magically puts everything into its right place. So, and yeah, if you're super connected, you don't happen to be triggered and you're just connected, then you're good. You're good. You're already in your power. But sometimes when we get triggered, we get out of presence, we just get reactive. And sometimes we have to realize, wait a minute, I'm creating this. I can utilize my will to focus this in a direction that's more positive, and ultimately ultimately in that process coming back into your heart, realizing, okay, let my heart be the power that resolves this situation. Let the heart lead the way. Okay? It's easy to say, oh, just be in presence, let your love to lead the way. But when you're really not in your power and your strength in your body and in those lower chakras, you could just be talked into anything. But if you're not really in your power, if you're not really rooted and grounded in your true power, hey, you want to do that? Yeah, sure. It feels like love. That feels good. Anything that feels like love or sounds like a good idea, you might go along with potentially, or already resonates with like your programming, your conditioning. Let's just go with it. Sounds good to me. And you're thinking you're all connected in your power, but maybe you're not, right? Just because you get angry doesn't mean you're in your power. It might be one level of sort of power sometimes, but because anger can be very powerful catalyst like everything else, but you're not in your deepest sense of your power. So you want to find your pathway into your deeper power again and again, and ultimately the heart space and the space of the eternal. That's the true power. So as you stand in that power, as I've talked, I will talk about maybe till the day I die, is then we can hear the angels sing, so we can hear our guidance. We are coherent. We're expert at whatever's happening in the moment. We have a sense of mastery over the moment, not from your head, but just you are, because you're connected. And then you're able to deal with a business situation or your marketing issues or your sales issues or whatever it is. How much should I charge for this next program? What is my next program? What should I be offering in the world right now? What should I be focused on in my business right now? All the things where you get spinning and you're not in your power. Like, oh, I don't know, what's the outer reality telling me I should do right now? Let's listen to this course. Let me listen to a coach. Let me listen to. Okay, have you listened to yourself? Have you gotten in your own power to know what your truth is? People have different places in their body where they can access wisdom and their embodied power. Sometimes you could just go to your heart and that will reveal the truth. But for some people, they just start saying, yes to a lot of things because they just feel light in their heart. And it's like, oh, let me just go along with it. It's not necessarily the highest thing. So we want to listen with your whole body, your whole energy, especially those lower chakras, on top of like what you feel in your heart. It's got to be that, what we call that full body. Yes, that more in your full deep body, and every level you're just feeling like yes, and increasingly only primarily to only go with your full hallelujah yeses. Sometimes we're going to say yes to things that may not fully resonate. That's totally possible. It's totally possible. I'm not so black and white, with teachings to say that there's not a gray area in some things. Like, hey, it feels good. It sounds like the right decision. I can feel the connection to it. Feels aligned. I'll do it. It's not always some big like, whoa, yes. It's not always that way, but sometimes it will. So are you first taking responsibility for your own energy? Are you taking responsibility to create space, not to be so influenced by fragmented energies, which look like other people, but more so you're in your own fragmentation that connects to the fragmentation that looks like it's out there. So we have to find that inner space. For me, meditation, prayer, some energy clearing techniques, clearing false beliefs, all these sorts of things are the tools. Now, for clearing false beliefs, there's so many tools we can use for that. One of them that you might reference that I talk to my students a lot about is the Byron Katie process. You can just look it up. The four questions, judge thy neighbor or judge your neighbor, worksheets by Byron Katie. 4 questions. First one is it true? Okay. What your belief is, what belief you're having right now that you're suffering from. Is it true? Can you absolutely know it's true is the second one. Usually everybody has to say no by then. Everybody taps it, oh, okay. But then we look at how do you react? What happens when you buy into it? I freak out and then I start overworking because I try to prove I'm enough or whatever the situation is, what all goes on for you. And the fourth one is, she says, who would you be without the thought, without this belief? Which is great. It is great, but it's more tangible for some people to say, well, what would be possible for you if you didn't have this thought? And then come from that place. And it's like, wow, a lot would be possible, right? So you're restricted by your own limited concepts and beliefs that disconnect you from your true power. True power to realize that you're just held in space. And yes, you are to feel the fire, thunder, and steel inside of you in a certain way, but I am here, that whole thing, that's some just wispy energy. We have to be in that lower chakra power too, one way or another, and to be able to show up and be a real signal in the world, to be that spiritual rock star. But it starts with being connected, and to make sure you're grounded, you're connected, you're in your true power. I'm just trying to use words to describe what that is. So you have to take time to meditate, to ground, to clear energy, where you're not honoring boundaries like commitments that you want to make to yourself and how that interacts with activities in your life and people. You have to have clear boundaries. This is how it works. This is my intention. This is almost like my rule with these situations. I don't do toxic people. I don't work past 5 o'clock. I don't, spend hours, listening to people moan about their situation. I don't, whatever it is, all the boundaries. And then, there's energetic boundaries in terms of you probably as an empathic, sensitive person, like maybe you need to use some shielding and things like that at this time. Maybe you need to cut some cords. There's lots of videos out there on that stuff. I'm not going to get into every technique and idea and way you can do things. But, just know like, okay, maybe I do need some of that sometimes. Releasing energies or cutting cords or, going through your chakras, opening up space in each chakra, just opening it up, just feeling the spaciousness in each chakra to go through a meditation on your own. Or again, there's guided ones out there. I don't really use guided meditations for that. But I know there's Joe Dispenza. I know has a nice meditation he talks about. I've never listened to his recording, so I don't know how great it is either way. But just visualizing like in your chakras, feeling the spaciousness in your body, the spaciousness in your chakras can bring you back into peace, connection, and your power. So you have to have these practices so that when you're mixing it up here in the physical, the 3D, you're continue to be connected and in your power. And so there's different ways of accessing your power when you feel like maybe you're slipping out of it. A good way could be to connect into your heart. What's my heart saying, as they say? Let your heart lead the way. And like I said, it has limitations. Sometimes you feel weak in your heart and you just feel like mush and you don't feel like you're in your power always in your heart. So that means there's something disconnecting from your wounding that will correspond to those lower chakras. So you come back and you feel the power in your lower body, your lower body is deep, the seat of your soul, you might call it. Coining a term from someone else there, but I mean that sense of that deeper power for me, it might be like it's like my sacral chakra power center. Just okay, I stand in that power. Now what happens? let's say you have a problem stuttering or you have a problem being articulate sometimes, just stand in that power in those lower chakras. All of a sudden you start talking better. It's a technique I use. Sometimes when I notice I'm kind of wavering and meandering with my speech in terms of too many of the likes and ums and stuff that I've had issues with over the years, I step into my power and all of a sudden those things decrease or start to be eliminated. It starts to get you clear. So step into your power, whatever that looks like. What does it feel like when you're in your power? What does it feel like when you're in your power? The sense of being in your power. So feel into that. Where do you feel that? Is it in your gut? Is it, in your heart? Is it somewhere else in your body? Just know where that is. And then you can center and focus your energy there whenever you feel lost or heavy or contracted. Sometimes all you need to do is really come back to that place, stand in that energy, be in that energy, be connected to that energy there in that place in your energy or your body, and just start moving forward or speaking from that space. And that may be the thing that moves everything forward for you in your business, in your life, etc. Just stand in your power. It's a very simple thing. Yet what happens when you're not in your power, everything seems complex. Everything seems like you can't figure it out. Stand in your power. This moment is enough. You know everything you need to know. Stand in your power, in the presence. And then in that lower chakra power to move things forward into the physical, because you are in the physical. So just checking out from the physical isn't going to work. You want to be in the physical while you're connected to the multidimensional aspects, which probably more of you are, more connected there than you are in your lower chakras. So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to share is just remember, like whatever you're facing, often the number one issue that you're facing is you're just not standing in your power. So I just wanted to share that with you today and give you some ways of approaching to be in your power. It is far better, again, to take responsibility for everything going on in your life than it is to be a victim to it all. So if you were to go to one extreme or the other, it'd be far better for you to take credit for everything that's happening, good, bad, or ugly, based on your perception. It's all perception. So, I've had, when I've done live events and stuff and people walk in late, I don't say, wow, you better, I probably have before, to be honest, but I've been known to say things like, oh, wow, I've got to sharpen up my own intention. If my intention was clear enough, everybody to be here on time, you would have. And it would have been in the energy, you just would have done it. Or I would have made instructions clear that you ought to be on time. And then my energy would connect with that as well. And then people would be on time. Rather than saying, what's your problem? You're late, right? So watch that, watch those patterns. Watch how you give your power away to the way you've seen people in the past, like giving power to how you've seen yourself in the past. Oh, this is how I see myself. I'm not very good at sales. I'm not very good at this. Well, based on your past, it doesn't mean anything necessarily about, what's possible today. Okay, that's the past. I mean, I'm not saying discard 1,000% of it necessarily, but saying we give way too much power to it. Or, yeah, I'm just not good at this thing with connecting with source. I'm not good with emotions. I'm not good with relationships. Well, you keep telling the same story again, you're just creating it again, right? Okay, that's been my past experience. When I stand in my power, what is the experience that I want to have now in this area of my life? And just decide that's what you're going to have, if it's true for you. Be honest with yourself. That's being in your power too. Are you being honest with yourself? If you're not being honest with yourself and you're trying to be in your power, but you're lying to yourself, you're not in your power. You're not in your power. So be honest with yourself. Start cleaning up the areas in your consciousness and therefore in your life, the business that you want to clean up. Start doing it today. Don't wait. Procrastination is not being in your power. You're operating from weakness when you're in like true procrastination. Procrastination sometimes is just listening to timing, and then your mind says, you're procrastinating. So these things do get a little tricky, but you have to just be honest with yourself. Again, what's your real truth? Commitment to truth. That's what we're all about here, obviously. So as best as we can, let's live from your deeper truth. Live from your deeper truth. Okay, there's so many more things I could say about this, but I wanted just at least to give you some support in this area to help you realize that when you start taking charge, you start taking responsibility for your own energy and what's happening in your reality. It's a far more joyful, fulfilling life, because when you're not judging yourself, you won't be concerned that you created something. You'll just be like, wow, I created that. How amazing am I for that, right? And if you want it to be different, you can just say, oh, I guess I kind of created that. Okay, do I want to keep creating that? No. All right, so what do I want to create? All right, okay, I'm deciding. That's what I'm creating. And a lot of manifestation is that simple. We've got all the different things, visualize, drop in the pictures, do all this stuff. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying sometimes the process can be that simple and you can manifest anything. The thing you may need to get released are the old energies and false beliefs. Sometimes those stand in the way of you really being in integrity with the decision that you want to make. You're not able to because you got something competing that's maybe overriding your sense of deciding. But often, even then, we could just get clear and decide, and that becomes the dominant signal in your energy that allows that to happen. And just remember to give gratitude and enjoy all your life, because there always will be the sense of mishaps everywhere, because your perceiving mind that's always looking for danger, always looking for problems, will always find some of it. No matter how enlightened you get, it will always find something. And so you have to make peace with that. And like, hey, it's all kind of just a big fun playground in a way, in some levels, this life, and yet it's so deep, meaningful, and amazing, beautiful, and precious. So it's all that. It's not just one way or another. It's not just one thing or another. So anyway, take what resonates today. You can leave the rest. It's all good. I'm grateful to share with you. If you want to learn how to stand more in your power, you might check out Your Sacred Purpose. We always talk about my free meditation, Meditate, Make Money. So you can check that out. There's also, though, there is a Clearing Your Power Center. I think it's called Clear Your Power Center. I created it many years ago, but there's a power center one that is very, very powerful and getting you connected in your power center. So check that out. It's got like 2 parts to it, and I promise you'll love it. So check that out in the online store at yoursacredpurpose.com. And if you're ready to rock, there's many other opportunities there. Okay, so stand in your power, watch everything transform. Let me know what you think. Let me know what unfolds from here for you as a result. And I'm very blessed and grateful to have the opportunity to share with you today. Lots of love and blessings. Keep on tuning in. We'll keep on rocking here at Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Till next time.
Listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Wednesday and Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.